Central Michigan are proud to serve the West Michigan community when the unexpected happens. Combining Lauren's background in design and innovation with Justin's experience with customer service and event management, they bring a thoughtful people-first approach to mitigation and restoration. They understand that restoring a home isn't about more than just the repairs. It's about helping families feel supported, informed, and cared for throughout the entire process. Outside of work, they enjoy taking on house projects together, hiking with their dog Burrow, spending summers on the water, cheering on Justin at softball games, and traveling to explore new places together. Give it up for Lauren.
All right, well, might just kind of have to go with it here a little bit on the viewing, but yeah, so we are RestoPros, and this is my first featured presentation. As Courtney mentioned, I've only been part of the group for a couple of months here, so figured I would introduce a little bit more about who we are as people, and then get into us as a business. So Justin, my husband, and I are the co-owners of RestoPros of West Central Michigan, and we met 7 years ago this week, and we got married 3 years ago this week. It was our anniversary. So, Justin, during his previous role, spent some time in Lake Tahoe, California, and so we actually got married out there and hiked the mountain. We love to hike and just be outdoors, so I would not recommend hiking in a wedding dress, but it was beautiful once we got the photos back. So we are obsessed with our dog Burrow. He is a mutt that we adopted who loves to run and go on hikes with us. He's named after Joe Burrow, the football player. It's a long story how we got there, but I can tell you that later if we have a coffee or a lunch. And then we also love to travel. So we 2 years ago got the opportunity to go to Europe for a month and went to 6 different countries. This is us when we were in Amsterdam, but love to go back to Europe again, and really just love to go anywhere new and explore when we get the chance. So who is RestoPros? So we are a mitigation company who focuses on damage caused to properties by water, mold, smoke, or fire. And we are a franchise. So we are headquarters is based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, but each of the independent locations, so West Central Michigan for us, is owned locally by people who are from that community. So I'm from West Michigan. I'm from Holland originally, grew up here, spent time in Grand Rapids, went to college here. Justin is actually from Houston, Texas. I met him in Florida when I lived out of state and dragged him up here. I would say he loves West Michigan now more than I do. Partially because it's not blazing hot. So this is home to us, and we love serving the community here and love being as involved as we can be on every project. We opened 2 years ago in July, so coming up on that anniversary, which is exciting. As a small business owner, every year that we go, we are no longer the statistic that fails, so we're excited about that. And then we are IICRC certified, which is the standard that restoration companies go by, and makes us trustworthy. We also certify every technician on our team, which is not usual with restoration companies. So this came up when I first joined. What is West Central Michigan? So that was a franchise thing. We just say it's West Michigan ultimately. So it's a big square around, Grand Rapids being the main metro out to the lake shore. So we serve up to Muskegon, North Muskegon, all the way down to kind of Saugatuck, south of Saugatuck and over. So if you get confused, just think of West Michigan. So why did we decide to start RestoPros? So I grew up with a dad who is a contractor, so I spent most of my childhood helping him build things, remodel things, and love being in homes as they're in process of becoming something new. And we ended up buying our house in Hudsonville when we moved back to West Michigan, and it had a lot of damage, pets, destruction, lots of things, and we said, all right, let's remodel this. And as we were doing that, we realized how much we enjoy the process of being in a home and helping it to become something better. And that led us to say, let's start our own business in a home service where we can help other people who are finding damage in their home and trying to recover. So what is damage? Sorry, guys, it's a little hard to see. So water and mold damage is kind of our bread and butter of what we do. And what that really consists of is three different categories. So overflows and bursts are things like, it's typically clean water. It would come from a tub overflow or water heater, something that's interior water that's clean, still causes a lot of damage, but is maybe not contaminated. So it's a little safer to be around. The second category would be things like appliance failures, so dishwashers, washing machines, things that can still pull in contaminants, slightly more dangerous to be in contact with and more important to get rid of. And then outside water or backup. So these are the really gross ones where you're getting outside dirt, you're getting sewage, things like that, and really are unsafe and toxic, and those need to be remediated immediately. So we also do smoke and fire damage. So smoke and odors is probably the biggest category we see with people who have cigarette smoke. So we help realtors when they're trying to sell a home where they have a lot of smoke damage, or pet odors. So we use special techniques and machines to remove those odors from the environment and make it clean again. Fire cleanup in general, so things like small kitchen fires that might not have caused a ton of structural damage, but they, again, have a lot of smoke that goes further than you think, and the surfaces need to be removed. And then the last category would be a true full structural damage fire that is not a safe structure to be in at that point. So that would need to be stabilized. It would require significant demo and maybe even being boarded up to not live in for a while. So how exactly do we restore? What's the process we go through when we say that we're doing that? So there's really 5 main steps that our team approaches it through. So I'm going to go through each one of these. So the first would be we get a phone call from somebody. They're varying levels of emergency. So we do 24/7 support. So sometimes we do get a call at 2 a.m. where there's a giant flood and we'll head out there. And the first step is an inspection. Sometimes it's something like mold that can wait a little bit longer, and we'll schedule that. But we'll get out there. My husband, Justin, is extremely thorough, almost too detailed at times, but he will go take pictures, understand where the damage is coming from, what the cause of loss was, and really what we need to do in order to stabilize it and get the damage removed. And so this looks like creating kind of a tailored plan. A lot of times these are covered by insurance, but not always. So the process of figuring out, should they make a claim? If they make a claim and they've had other claims, is that going to be an issue? What does their policy say? Kevin, I got you. And then figuring out, do we need to set some stabilization equipment to start managing that damage? So we use specific devices to help us understand what's happening with the damage and with that home. The second portion would be removing the damage. So this includes often a lot of demo, but it can also include extracting water. So if it's standing water, like feet of water, we often have to call a pump out company. We don't have a pump out truck, but if it's smaller amounts, we can do it ourselves. And then making sure that we're only tearing out what really needs to get torn out. So this is a difference from us, from others. Some restoration companies believe that just tear everything out, right? Which is often more costly. We believe more in saving what we can. So, and making sure that we're thinking about the financial responsibility. If it's going to be on the homeowner, let's make it not something that's going to cost them for the rest of their lives either. So we try to clean what we can and save things like trim. Obviously drywall often has to go, but we do what we can. And then the drying is probably the most significant part of the process. So we use things like fans and special equipment like down here to save wood floors that have gotten wet and suck out the moisture that we can. Again, trying to save as much as we can. Typically, drying takes about 3 to 5 days. But every job is different, and that's our job to assess to make sure that we're doing the right thing to protect the home and protect the people in it. So we often use things also called air scrubbers to make sure that as this process is happening, we're pulling out bacteria or mold growth that could be happening during the process and protecting, again, the people in the environment. So the fourth step is cleaning. So this includes sanitizing. We use safe plant-based products that are safe for people and pets. So that way it's a safe environment to be part of. And then last, we don't currently do the reconstruction, but we partner with people who do. So you can either choose someone of your own, or we would provide a list of trusted people for you to do that restoration portion for you. During the end steps, we're documenting everything. Documentation is a huge part of this to make sure that it's done correctly, and that if you are in the process of an insurance claim, that the insurance will give you everything you're due to put your home back the way it should be. So that's our job to advocate on your behalf, and we will do that to make sure you get what you're covered for. I don't have a ton of time to end with, but I wanted to hit a couple case studies. So situations we've been in. So a late night basement example where someone called us at 11 o'clock at night, and we ended up finding they had a frozen pipe outside that caused their sump pump to back up. And so they got home from a vacation, found this in their basement. We came out, we extracted the water, got it drying, helped them remove all of the things they had stored. Often basements, people have things that are precious to them stored, so help them move those and protect them. I don't have time to hit all the other ones, but if you want to hear a bunch of crazy stories about homes, some of them gross, some of them, will shock you, set up a coffee or lunch with me. Happy to share stories. But ultimately, if you know a plumber, a real estate agent, a roofer, insurance agent, anybody who works with people with homes or comes in contact with homes, give them our name. We're happy to come out again to do a free inspection anytime for damage and help people out when they're in need. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to partnering more with you guys.